Oh god, okay. Mute my own stream while streaming. Lesson learned. So, while I'm alt-tabbed in Steam here, I'll just introduce what we're doing tonight. We just got a IM cast of Watch the Throne versus the IM Illuminati, that much fabled group. And this match is going to go live soon. I have some people from the stream chat telling me it just started, so in about a minute or so we're going to get into things. Joining me today, Sephi, back from the TF2 grave to cast a match. Not to play a game ever again by his own declaration, but here he is.
Possibly. Maybe only like half out the grave. Like, I've started digging a little bit, but, you know, I haven't made it all the way out there. Gasping for air.
There you have it.
So, unfortunately, I can't really give an overview of these teams since I haven't really been paying attention to TF2 so far this season. There are quite a few recognizable names here. Who has some invite experience, and Moonchild as well on IM.
Yeah, I picked this match to cast just because I recognize the vast majority of the people, or everybody in here actually. Seems like it'll be a pretty close game, but I have not ever seen this IM team play. I rang with Watch the Throne once, and they seem to be, well, pretty decent, I'd say. So I may have thought that IM on paper looks a bit better, but I don't know. After playing with Watch the Throne, I feel like it's going to be very up in the air as to who takes this. So I'm not going to give my prediction because it would be a complete guess. And oh, here we go. We are going live. I forgot that just a minute ago I said that I knew it was going live in a minute, so we're kicking it off. First round of process mid. Here we go. GLHF's going on, the server readying up 4 times, and I'm gonna watch Omph as he rolls out to mid, see if he can ace these 6 sticky slides. There's like 2 surfs that make you really fast if you hit them on this map. Number 1, nails it. Number 2, no, close. It's still reasonably fast to mid, so Omph just trading stickies with the enemy demo. He's actually really low. He doesn't get his own health pack, and looks like he denies the other demo, but Omph really low in this mid. That's going to be a pretty big problem for them. They're hanging back while they heal him up, now sending a bit of a soldier aggression forward, who seems to go unseen by the scouts, so he gets a lot of damage in, and it's 2 down for Watch already, but they return some frags, not quite enough. Watch down 3 to IM's just 2, lots of low health on IM, but Watch now having to fall back with Cranberry and Mela getting out of there as they lost the first few frags. That was really weird to see that roaming soldier from IM jump out seemingly so early when their health was bad and they were backed up, and the scouts were completely not looking at him at all and did 0 damage, so he kind of established that mid for them there.
Yeah, that was strange. It looked good for Watch starting out. Blueberry jumped up to a crate and drilled a scout, taking position and not taking much damage himself, but I guess things didn't work out for them.
Yeah, Cruz manages to get a headshot onto Panic as they push into 2, but Melee gets taken really low. Nice defense from Blueberry there, keeping Demo Man alive, and that's going to be a good push back out for Watch. And actually, they can convert this into a mid with the numbers they have right now. Just Trisk, Mr. Slin. I'm pretty sure Trisk would be roam. Well, I have no idea actually. I think he's going to roam and Panic would be pocket, but I'm not sure. Anyways, we have Watch now taking over the mid here. Not really much that IM can do about this, but they did at least keep Slin up, so they're going to have their Uber to defend too, and we're going to walk our way into a little bit of a stalemate here as we settle in around mid and 2.
IM extended way too far during that Uber. They had people who were all the way in when the Uber ended, when it became apparent that their Uber was bad and they couldn't quite get out, and that's a free mid for Watch.
Yeah, that early headshot onto Panic really started to turn that push around, and unfortunately I forgot that I was running a huge status monitor, so I was watching like completely not the action for a while, so I apologize for that, but I will try to get my camera work a little bit more in tune as this progresses. Now, I'm going to take a look over at Watch. looking to see how they're going to push there. They're keeping their combo really near choke. Choke's kind of hard to get through, but yeah, and IM's holding really far back too, so it's tough to bomb on them. Push through the warehouse area might work just to get in close with their Uber, and looks like they're rotating around that way. If I just flick my camera around, yeah, they're keeping some fake pressure on choke. I thought the medic was going into warehouse, but they're just kind of standing around. Now trying to shove the flank a bit with a roaming soldier, but he's going to get stuffed back by some rockets. And just waiting for Watch to make a move here. Either a suicide or a just full-out attempt at an Uber exchange. Basically just on them.
Based on what we can see, warehouse would be nice to push if they can get in close without popping, because there are so many people standing around here that they could have a better Uber.
Oh, here's the sack. Blueberry missed his double rocket jump and got absolutely demolished. Now Watch is going to back up. If IM is real men, they're going to push mid here. One roamer trying to make a play here, but he... Okay, I guess that must be panic roaming, because that was not a pocket kind of play. He ended up walking right into the combo and dying. So I think that's a pretty... Well, the idea behind what he did there was an attempt at a counter-suicide because they don't want to risk their combo, but I feel like against a soldier down, it's so easy to just walk through a choke without that second set of rocket spam that you can deal with it. Now Slin popped Uber on 2, with Cranberry popping as well. Mela getting a lot of damage on him, so actually pretty decent damage going on to both teams. IM is really low as well, despite the fact that all that apparently happened off camera. And Watch taking great position on this too now. They're getting low, but Umph is dead, and their position is absolutely dominating there. So basically they managed to push in, get the Uber exchange off before Panic came back up. So kind of that late counter-suicide, biting IM for that. And now moving already into last before the spawns get through. Umph is just now spawning. I believe it's the same death from on 2, and they've already capped the point. That heavy just melting without the demo spam to support to keep them alive. So there you go, Watch taking it back. They kind of crumbled on that first mid, but after that they really took control of that round.
Yeah, that was exactly how you should do a 2-push. You let your combo get in, they create an advantage, and then once they say, hey guys, they're low, their entire team flowed in and muscled IM away without even killing anybody. Taking 2.
Now Watch having a stronger mid here right off the bat. The first frag goes to them thanks to some rocket and scout coordination up top. Now Mela in with the pipes, takes a few out. It's 3v3. Scout medic demo versus now just a soldier medic. The soldier bombing in, but scout right in his face. He's not going to be able to do anything about that. And they're Watch getting the momentum under their feet. They take that mid. They could start edging towards 2 here. They just have to be careful of getting caught by spawners. And looks like they're going to slow things down, just set up a trap and wait for their team to get 6. Now we're going to see how they opt to push this, because they were leery of just doing a straight up Uber exchange before. The one that did work was off that pick they had on that late pick on Panic that they got. So maybe they're going to opt for another suicide here. We have Moonchild sniping, walking over into the warehouse, so he's going to try to get a pick on the first person to walk through there. Not going to be as much pressure on choke, and that could actually just bait Watch into pushing, because with a sniper there's really not the same level of scout cleanup that you could have, so just doing an Uber exchange is a lot easier when there's not that second scout. Now just chilling out, waiting for something to happen. I should probably be watching an attacker so that maybe Blueberry's going to be the one to do something. He's set up in sewer now. I feel like he wants to jump, but now it kind of looks like he's just baiting for a pick. And my camera keeps flicking me back to Trisk, so I guess this is going to stalemate for a little bit here as we just have IM spamming the choke. Here's Blueberry jumping in and spectacularly failing his jump again, not making it over the fence. So back to the jump server to him. And we settled down once again. Looks like Panic not going to opt for a counter-suicide this time, but they're just going to try to give Moonchild a shot through choke, which is a decent idea, just a bit of pressure with the combo, but this is now coming too slow to actually convert into mid. They needed a headshot there. Well, there's a headshot. They could actually go on that. That pocket is absolutely demolished. And are they going to? No, they're just going to keep waiting for another shot. And that's the demo. That's even better. They're going to definitely push on that one.
Yeah, I think the suicide is really great on this map just because of the features of it. That you have to go through that choke, and then mid is so far away that you can respawn that suicider.
Oh man, look at this. 2 people dropped at the start of the Uber, and it gets forced. So that's basically... I didn't see what Slin popped to, but Watch got their Uber forced out there, and they're going to lose 2. No soldiers. They can't defend this. There's no way. No way they can defend this. So I am just coming through. Lots of damage onto from that scout, but he should be fine once the soldier flicks a rocket over his way. There's Trisk covering his back, and that's gonna be 2. Sticking them out at the doors. Crest going sniper again. Let's see if he can get some kind of pick to halt this push on last, although Cranberry now getting pretty close to Uber, so they should be fine, at least for a chance at this defense. But of course you don't want to get pushed back to your last, because now the cards are all in IM's hands. They can decide what they want to do in terms of suicides or, you know, what have you. This map is really open into how you want to approach this last point.
Right, and I think that sniper was an excellent call to counter the suicide play onto 2, because it's sort of hard to do an all-out Uber push into mid and to get anything done before that suicider is respawned and back in position. But with this sniper, they could really take their time and try to set up a nice pick before having to commit to going back in the mid, and that's exactly what they did.
Right now we're just watching a sniper battle here between Moonchild and Cress, although it's more been Moonchild versus Mela's pipes for the last little bit. Moonchild getting some decent opportunities to peek here. Like he keeps getting piped on that same spot again and again, so not much happening as of yet. We're just still waiting for a headshot to go off. And once that happens, IM's definitely going to push, but they are not likely to do anything until a shot connects here. Headshot onto the enemy sniper, but no kill thanks to that buff. Teleporter down, guys. Time to go. Moonchild now picking another angle here, and ooh, nails that sniper there, and has a line on the medic, but doesn't get the shot. Now are they going to commit? It's tough to commit against an NG. Trisk dying immediately, and the Uber popped, so misstep here, but for some reason there's a pity pop out of Cranberry, allowing IM to not get completely crushed on their 2, but with this 3v5 that they now find themselves in and getting caught out so far, living with like 2 HP there, they're gonna have to give this 2 now. I thought that maybe that misuse of Uber on last from Red, I didn't see what forced them. Maybe just the threat of a sniper could have cost them this point, but yeah, they got it.
It seemed like some slight miscommunication from Blue. It seemed like wanted to take down the sentry without using Uber, but then they popped out the opposite side anyways.
Yeah.
So given that they wanted to pop, it probably would have been more useful to Uber straight into the gun and then, you know, force the pop with him right after. But
yeah. Also,
yeah,
not dropping the pocket on the pop would have helped as well. But, you know, there you have it.
That's always a good thing to avoid.
Anyways, we have Ubers evening out. I am on mid. They were reeling back a bit there, just on a slight disadvantage as they got their spawns up from that failed last, but now it's once again on them to make something happen, and Moonchild still running sniper, so that's going to be what we're waiting for once again, is a headshot from Moonchild, so he's just watching choke. I'll just flip around a bit. Maybe Panic's turn to do a suicide. We shall see, although doing a suicide with a sniper is a little... it's easy to get pushed on. We have Crust running Spy. I think he went back after that 2-cap to switch to Spy because they're not content with this stalemate situation. And that's the Cloak and Dagger, so we know this is a slow developing play if there ever was one. So I'm going to flip off and watch Panic hanging out in the sewer. Not much action here between these 2 points.
I guess the way they decided to deal with the sniper was to try to go Spy, but the way I prefer to deal with it is once they get really close on choke, trying to give them a shot, you can just Uber straight into their team. And the fact that, you know, you're Ubering it aggressively on defense is more than outweighed by the fact that they don't have they have that sniper instead of a scout to clean up with afterwards.
Yeah, we did have a push initiated off the Spy going down in sewers earlier, and it's just a straight up Uber exchange and back up. But now that's Panic coming in on the flank, getting a couple picks, and Watch kind of just crumbling here. Only Mela is left alive, and we have Moonchild, Slin, and Umph now capping the Spy, or Umph pushing ahead to last. He's going to maybe get some 1v1 in against Mela, but those pipes tell a different story, and he's going to back up there. Lots of spawns for Watch, so I don't expect that IM is going to do anything here. They're just going to wait on this Uber advantage and then probably go. Likely doing some peeks with their sniper in the meantime, because something like that, a headshot right on the pocket there, is going to make their job that much easier.
That was quite well played by IM. They got that pick, but they didn't get too aggressive right away, realizing that they still had that sniper, and they still weren't too much stronger in a straight-up fight. And they let Watch get desperate, thinking that they had to make a play now that they were down a player, and waited for Watch to jump into them and took him out before pushing up.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Watch's Uber was misused as well, because they didn't really deny the choke at all. They just let IM come in through the choke on that one, and they're Ubering back behind there too, which is basically not very useful. Dies. What the heck is with these Ubers? They're like fail Uber out into a bunch of sticky traps from last, and they drop somebody every time. So it's another failure of a push, and that's almost certainly going to be 2 down, because it's just Slin and Panic up. Slin's taking a bunch of damage. Where is he? Scout on him a choke, and he's dead. So dropping the demo on Uber, once again a failure pushing into last, and this will roll a couple points. This is an easy mid for Watch. I am just going to be looking to force the charge if anything, but there's no way that they can hold this against the onslaught. Nice pipe by him, though, but I think he's gonna... Wow! That was some slick defensive sticky on him. So they get a scout, but that's not gonna save mid. And this is... Oh man, Moonchild gets a line. Cranberry gets forced by the jumping soldier at the same time, so good job by IM.
Died coming in there.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was... Was it just the soldier on him, or was there something else as well? Oh no, Slin! I'm crazy. Either team.
They were peeking up through choke, and Slin went way too far and had a soldier jump on him, and he was sort of out there waiting for his entire team and almost died.
Well, he didn't die, so all good for them, but why? Oh no, don't snipe here? What the heck? They could have totally punished this. It was like 1 down and a sniper.
I think he was sniping on an off chance of getting a pick, given that Watch had that complete Uber advantage and mid, but then Watch's Uber got forced.
Yeah, no, I was talking about Watch actually. I think this is a terrible time for sniping for them, because Moonchild was already sniper like at the time they were capping mid, and they had like 1 kill and 1 guy was a sniper, so it's essentially 6v4. So they could have just pushed this and had a second scout come clean up, but instead they're gonna slow it down and snipe, which is maybe, I don't know, I guess my play is a little riskier, but I feel like your odds are so far in your favor when you essentially are 6v4 that they should have just gone for it.
I feel like a lot of teams are a little too scared to go all out aggressive when facing an enemy sniper. Perhaps they didn't feel confident, or maybe they respected Moonchild sniping too much to consider him being a man down.
I guess that's true enough, but now they do get that pick onto Moonchild, which is going to initiate their push. Crest just sniping in behind the combo. They get forced on choke, which is kind of bad, and now they're going to have to run from this Uber, and Starry doesn't have the last flash on him as Cranberry's ditching, and he gets absolutely dunked. With maybe like half a second more, he could have jumped away, but he's dead, and everything is crumbling now. That Uber did not get anything done at all, and Cranberry's chased down. He's sure to die. I couldn't even find him in time. He's already dead. And now it's just Watts spawning at 2. So after that 1 sniper pick, they just crumbled on that 2. I do really wish that they'd just taken it when they had, you know, more of an advantage. Like 2 kills essentially is a lot easier to work with than, you know, an Uber and 1 kill.
Yeah, that push went bad really quickly. The Uber didn't do anything, and they lost the scout away from the Uber. So once they saw that the Uber was bad and that they had a scout down, they should have all jumped away immediately. And instead, they stayed a little too long. And as a result, they didn't have too much of a chance to force this Uber.
Yeah, I did mention how Starry kind of got caught out there, but I think perhaps it was just him not backing up quickly enough and the medic, you know, piecing out at an appropriate time. Now we have the push coming into last. Uber's popped. Panic jumping in behind the medic up top. He's sure to die if a rocket connects here, and, you know, close enough. Everybody's really low on watch here, so I really can't see them winning this push. It just looks terrible. 1 at a time just getting killed with the roamer still sitting behind them. Oh my god. There's a shoot ground frag video if I've ever seen one, and that's going to be the round. So after a catastrophic push onto 4, Watch finally gets rolled back to their last. I mean, they had they had IM on their last, I think, at least once that round, and then finally things just went not in their favor, and that was that. So I'm checking out Blueberry Villain as we come to another mid here. None of the super fast power speed skip soldier rollouts here, but actually now he's doing a skip. He runs into the enemy roamer midair and it turns back to take him out. So that's first pick onto Panic, but Mala goes down in return, so this is pretty favorable for IM now as the scout cleanup starts to come in. That demo kill early on before he gets, you know, his second round of stickies out there just makes a big difference in the damage. So there's the cleanup now. The two scouts from IM taking care of business. Dennis did get killed, so good job, I think, from a scout there to pick him off, but 2's going to go, and last is going to be having sentries and heavies on it because there's not too much hope defending against the Uber advantage without something like that. Actually, wait, is he building... Man, he's building the gunaway over there. Just build it in front of spawn, then carry it over. You don't have time for this. They could come in right now. Oh, man.
Well, it looks like he's not going to get punished too badly. IM's a bit slow in pushing.
Yeah, Trisk just got there. They pop in the door. Not going to drop people to sticky traps this time. They don't manage to find much, but they do take out the gun. But Heavy picking off a scout and a snipe onto Moonchild. That's no scouts. There's no way this push is going to work, and they're piecing out. So maybe a little too... I don't know. I guess they didn't have an eye on the stickies, so popping through the door may have been forced just because they didn't want to drop somebody at the start of the push again. But that Uber didn't do much, and Watch was able to bring it back by killing the scouts away from the combo as the Uber was failing to really get anywhere. Soldier trying to jump behind to last. He's going to walk into a scout and actually kill him? What? Soldiers can kill scouts? What game am I playing? Okay. So
yeah, if the enemy team on last is that passive, like they were way behind, they were behind the point up top. You really have to get a scout on point and force them out of there. You can't just rely on that Uber to go get a kill when they're so defensively positioned.
Yeah, in times like that, it's actually really nice if you just run a scout in ahead of your combo, just so you can see sticks and you don't have to pop necessarily on the door, and you can just kind of go past and then easily save them with the Uber, because with a buff they're not going to die. Crest trying to be hero, runs past, forces the Uber, looks like, and then dies in the choke, but that's going to give his team a little bit of time for mid, but I don't think enough to cap. Trisk does get picked off, but that's in exchange for Starry, so now IM numbers advantage, moving in towards the 4 of Watch, and Watch crumbling here. Blueberry caught in bad position on the low ground, and it's just going to be booking it back to last for the rest of Watch. Maybe... no. Well, they have Uber advantage.
They really should try to... I really would try to stop
this. Considering it just started, they could at least... it's getting like worse and worse, but... yeah, they are going to try to stop it. That's Scout Uber, looks like. And I'm flipping around cameras everywhere, not finding anything, but no kills with their Uber. It does give them 2 though, so that might be worth it, just to get the chance at deflecting this Uber push, rather than being stuck back onto their last.
I think it's always better to have 2 in an Uber disadvantage than to be stuck on last.
Yeah, now we see the Scout Uber, the return Scout Uber coming in, and it's far more effective. Watch kind of cut out there. Mela was like up at choke alone and just got picked off by scouts from mid-range, and then the rest of the team just fell apart after that. The Uber got forced on choke, but they kind of moved half up to save Mela, didn't save him, and then things got bad. Started with some big shotgun work on last, actually puts out a lot of damage. Mela coming in for the cleanup, but not quite enough. Watts, no, not in time, so IM Illuminati coming back. Taking these rounds. I feel like they're going to be the team to win this. I'm looking from these last few rounds. Watch has kind of got the wind taken out of their sails by that failed push onto 4, and then just some of these exchanges, like things that could go their way. At least getting a couple frags on the Uber feels so much better than what's been happening to them so far.
Yeah, I feel like they're not getting enough done with their Ubers, and they aren't respecting the enemy Ubers enough.
We have a really early bomb from Panic, which gets shut down by a scout, but meanwhile on the other side of the map, Trisk and Moonchild combining to dunk upon the enemy team, so it's now just Cruss and Watts, the scouts from Watch, but here I'm saying just the scouts. Look at this, they're killing everybody. Now Dennis No scatter. He has to reload his pistol fight against the scout. 14 health. Oh my god, he gets the health pack at... He's 67 left, but Watts is probably going to be intimidated into thinking he has more. Now it's even health. Dennis putting more point. Ooh, ow. Takes a huge shot there, but nothing connects. 20 life. Oh my god. What a scout fight.
Dennis really coming through for his team.
Oh
Killed
my
both
god.
those scouts.
How did he not... Oh man, that just sucks, that DM fail when you can't capture... When you can't just connect that last shot. He had the health advantage through most of that fight, but nerves got to him, I guess. Watch is going to come back in and try to fight this. Actually, killing Umph is good for them, but this is going to quickly turn against them as the forward spawns begin to come in from IM, and the health is just getting picked apart from Watch, so they have no more place on this mid, and they do well just to sit back, probably behind there too, so that their scouts and they're spawning Roamer and Scout can make a play in here. But they're kind of getting caught here just before Uber. Lots of damage going into the combo. Cranberry is so low and he goes down. Oh my god, they didn't back up quite quickly enough, and that's going to be really painful for them. This round is almost certainly over as the Uber from IM comes into last. Although that said, they did fail their last Uber push into last pretty miserably, but this one should probably come before there's even buffs.
There aren't even any buffs. So
yeah, the medic's not even up.
It's really difficult to fail this push.
It'll be a true TF2 moment if they do. They pop and flash through the door, they kill a soldier, but not much more damage going out, but tons of cap time. That's gonna be it. Surely. Sure, no. TF2. 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 They defended it.
They really needed to get that cap time earlier so that they had some of that Uber left when when Watch was forced to point.
These guys, man. Watch can't push 2 and IM can't push last, so that's our back and forth, is both teams having failure moments as they attempt to make plays onto each other's points. And Watch gets their 2 back. A little bit of an Uber advantage. Man mode says push it. But we'll see if they do.
This should hopefully give some momentum back to Watch. I feel like their ideas haven't been awful, just they've been failing in executing, you know, crowned by that unfortunate 2v1 loss at the end of that last mid.
I thought this was going to be a Scout Uber, but it was just the Scout clearing the choke with the medic on him, and that actually works out really well. They didn't have to pop. Now, unfortunately, getting forced by an enemy soldier, that's going to allow IM to come back into this, especially since the cap hasn't gone down for Watch yet. That's going to be a big deal here because they're not going to deny that forward spawn from Panic, but nobody dying to the exchange Uber means this fight's still going strong. Starry managed to find the ground, but Moonchild going down to Blueberry, that's good start for them, and this is kind of just an even fight around mid, but as time goes on, IM's going to get some forward spawns in, and that's going to seal the deal on this one. So just not quite enough cap time. Getting forced that far back from Cranberry was just unfortunate, and I think if he was like super risky, he could have lived that. I'm not sure if that second rocket hit or not, but yeah, it's a tough situation there with that roamer bombing not quite dying quickly enough.
That's one of those trade-offs with pushing an Uber advantage into mid. You can either look to intimidate them off and not pop your Uber, or you can just go crazy aggressive with your Uber. And it was going quite well intimidating them off, but they did manage to get that Uber forced, which is the only way. I can't find my words right now.
Yeah, that's the worst situation. Like, if you intimidate them and don't pop, it's great. If you Uber aggressively and don't kill things, that's bad, but it's not as bad as trying to intimidate them and getting forced anyways. So we have, in the meantime, what looked like a push turned into, what the heck, a suicide? Because Trisk went past them, but then they popped anyways. So now we have Uber versus inferior player number, and Panic kills the medic, but I feel like this should go Watch's way. I mean, they have more fragging classes, so they can just man mode out onto 2. I have no idea what the heck that play was, where they like suicided their pocket and then pushed with Uber anyways, because they could have just backed up after their pocket died and then had Uber still. But I don't know, maybe he got like super juggled or something and the calls weren't that clear, because I didn't see what went on anyways. So yeah, that was a little weird, but we reset around 3 and 4 once again with pretty much even spawns, so not much Watch can do to push this. That's Crust sniping again, so that's going to be their angle, and Cranberry now switching to crits. They're really uncontent with sitting on their points, and I kind of like that. That spy play earlier and the crit streak now with the sniper sort of indicates their willingness to push forward. Although, I say that, I don't know if I like crits and sniper together too much, but when the sniper kills the demo man, you can't complain. So this is going to be an easy mid for Watch, and they could even crits this through the enemy choke if they want to. Cranberry lives, which he doesn't. But, you know, medic for mid, I'll take it.
The control point is being captured.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but on the other hand, I feel like they should know that these suicides are coming. There are so many situations where Watch has the advantage, and it's a great time for IM to suicide onto their medic, and yet they seem oblivious to the fact that it's about to happen.
Yeah, that's one thing that I would have mentioned if I had incredible foresight to make myself look really smart, is that dropping a scout for a sniper in these situations means it's that much harder for somebody to just completely deny a jumper from getting to your medic. Now watch, they're fighting this Uber a little bit. They're actually getting a few picks, and there's another headshot. Umph is not finding the right end of Cress's sniper rifle, but looks like they're kind of intimidated off. I would be more eager to peek the choke here because they have forward spawns coming, so taking a 3v3 fight when your spawns are going to be closer isn't that bad. But that said, I mean, one of their three is a sniper, so he's essentially useless if he doesn't hit a shot.
I feel like they had that very small window to retake it, and they decide not to go.
Yeah, because like even right after the cap went down, it means your forward spawns were up. I think they got all 6 from forward, and it's only 3 of them that capped mid. So to be fair, the right play from IM would just be to back up to their choke, wait for spawns. Holy smokes, I missed that, but there's a headshot onto Slyn, so forget, I mean, I'm saying sniper's useless and whatever, but I mean, getting the picks is important. You do suffer from having less medic defense and whatnot, but getting picks like this is, you know, worth it. I mean, even though they're forced early here, that's okay because they killed the enemy medic already, so this should be their mid, assuming they find a frag somewhere, but they've just, with the tail end of the Uber, managed to kill Trisk. Moonchild getting back at them with the sniping, and there's a back cap. I think that's Panic on 2, probably. Mela jumping in, pulling out the pipe reload attack. Not too effective there, but actually a lot of IM dying here. They're trying to push up towards the 2, looks like, but with that many people down, Moonchild just being cheeky and hanging out at choke, killing people. Well, what the heck? Okay, I don't understand this game anymore. There's only like 3 up from IM, and Watch is all like hiding behind 2 getting sniped to death. So that's a little weird. I think they could have just jumped him and killed him. But there you have it. IM gets 2.
I have to feel really bad for Watch here. They've been doing such an amazing job securing advantages and then doing absolutely nothing with them. Either from their reluctance to push or just bad execution when they do.
Yeah, although, I mean, to be fair, IM has their fair share of this because, like, a true TF2 moment is when they push in here and either drop somebody on this pop or it goes nowhere. Here's dropping all of the demo's health, so that's, you know, close, but they get a lot of damage and they have their team all in together, so this one actually looks pretty good. I'm sorry for my criticism, IM. Good job. Oh my god! Halftime! Crushed!
What?
Halftime!
Oh man, they must have lost track of time because they had an enormous numbers advantage and they just need to collapse on that, and they were sort of hanging on the outskirts of the fight instead of using all their manpower to contest point.
Oh man, that's brutal. I was all being mean to them and being like, you're gonna fail the super into last because you failed like 5 of them already. But then it was really good, and if they had like 3 more seconds, they would have won. But no dice.
Well, in a way, it was a fail because they should have known to just pile onto point. You know, if you're gonna die, you're gonna die. If there isn't any time left, then you should at least give yourself that chance to cap it. It's not gonna cap itself.
While we're in halftime here, I'll put the stats up on stream. We got leading the damage is Mela with 336 per minute. Second up looks like Moonchild. Oh god, that's Scout Sniper top damage. That's when you feel the pain as a combo player. The Scout is out damaging your demo. Trisk not finding his footing as pocket. He's actually only getting under-damaged by Dennis on his team. And looking at the other side, yeah, Starry's second damage on his team, so that's a more normal distribution on Watch the Throne, but Moonchild doing a lot of work here. I mean, Dennis's damage number is, you know, the lowest on his team, but it's not too shabby. That's a good damage for a Scout. Moonchild doing a lot of work. Mela trying, but his team not quite able to do enough with him, although, I mean, some of that comes from, you know, your demo man, you just do a lot of damage when people are pushing on you. So if you're getting pushed a lot, you do, you know, free damage on sticky traps and whatever.
So, what would you say is the one key for each team going into this halftime?
So IM Illuminati needs to sort out their last pushes, mainly, is their problem, because they could have easily made this a 3-1 if they had sealed some of these rounds earlier. And what they need to do, and like honestly what's really easy, is you just send a scout in, like far right or something, because that's never trapped. Like, it doesn't make any sense to put a trap there, and you're a scout anyways, so it's easy to dodge the trap. Just send a scout in like far right or something, spot some stuff out and draw some spam away from the doors so your combo isn't forced to like pop blind to a trap that's not there, or not pop to a trap that is there, and you know, have an Uber that either fails because somebody's dead or heavily damaged when they come in the door, or an Uber that's you know, pops too early and they can't get on anybody. Just like leading the scouts in makes it a lot easier, or just using like bottom left to come in. If you're gonna pop in the door anyways, then pick a door that's closer. Is this live on second half? It totally is. Okay, I'm back in the game. I'm closing the stats page for now. And just to wrap up my little halftime discussion there, for Watch, they really just need to not like massively flub their pushes. Like, they're getting big advantages, but then they're dropping their medic to suicides, and like just having some overextensions at the end of pushes that makes them lose like you can fail a push and then lose 1 point if you back out gracefully, or you can fail a push catastrophically and then lose. Oh my god, Moonchild. This is disgusting. I'll just take a moment to, you know, give a moment of silence to the scout. Killing everything.
IM tried that super fast roamer play, but it seemed like he both didn't deny the health pack, and then Watch randomly brought a soldier out of warehouse to mid, and he just died instantly without doing much damage. But apparently, you know, a soldier not doing anything at mid doesn't mean anything if a scout just cleans up everybody.
Yeah, like I didn't see quite fully because I was still in halftime mode, but Moonshell killed a lot of stuff and did a lot of damage right there. So, you know, rightly holding his top damage title on his team right now. And just to finally finish that thought, yeah, Watch just needs to not like hugely drop their team when they're losing points. Like, if they lose a push and back out and lose 1 point, that's okay, they can come back. But if they lose like a bunch of points, it's really bad. Like here, they're trying to make a play. Moonchild's just freestyling into their combo, doesn't get anything, but Mela's down, so actually I am kind of overextending here, but with the amount of picks that they got entering, this is okay because they can just stalemate this, wait for their 6 to come up. Although if they had maybe just sat on that demo pick, cap 2, and then pushed last, that could have ended the round already. But, you know, may as well go huge while you have the opportunity, right?
Well, having 2 and having Uber is never a bad position unless you're IM, apparently.
No, that's true. That is very true. But Watch has Uber this time, so it's not an Uber versus non-Uber push, which is sometimes, sadly, an easier push.
Right.
But it's stalemating out. We have no off-class from IM yet, so... is this suicide? Ah, my camera work! Oh my god, I missed it, but you've got the force. Yes, I'm the worst.
Suicide worked.
But we have Starry coming out. He gets caught on the edge of that fence there and doesn't make it all the way through, and I'm picking off Mela with a sticky trap. That's also Slin popping somewhere into lobby. That's going to be a strong position for IM on last here, as Watch kind of struggling to push out, not able to get anything with the end of their Uber and losing their demo man. So that all stems from that first suicide from Panic there. So maybe that's the solution to IM's last problems. They can't take it with a straight up push, but if they get a single roamer suicide that gets the force, then everything follows from there.
Yeah, it seemed like Watch overextended a little bit, trying to get the force instead of just trying to defend, which may have been a better choice. Trying to defend 6v6 with no Uber, given the past history of IM's pushes.
Yeah, but it's tough to say. It's tough to just sit there and let them suicide on you and then sit there, because it should work a lot better than it has been. Anyways, I am absolutely crushing that mid. Watch, kind of seeming to have the wind taken out of their sails here. They're not having any luck on these mids now in the second half. things are just kind of falling apart for them after a couple of crumbles on defense. They're gonna Uber into 2 here. It's an Uber exchange. They got really good damage with their combo at the start of this though, but Dennis is gonna 2k on the side, so that's gonna be it for Watch. In terms of this 2 fight at least, they have a chance for last because IM is so lit. It's gonna be tough for them to come in. Looks like they're gonna try for it anyways. Dennis goes down. That's gonna kind of take the momentum out of it. Blueberry Villain getting aggressive. Nice kill onto Umph, and that could be a turnaround. Demo down is enough to go. If you're manly, you go take your 2 off of that.
They definitely should push on this.
Looks like they're going now. They take a bit of early damage in terms of spam, but oh man. I feel like this is too slow. I feel like Umph's going to come back and choke, and then there's going to be stickies, and then they're going to be really sad. But actually...
They managed to get good position.
Yeah.
Just in time.
I am like vacated it. I feel like they could have fought for that a little harder, but you know, when you're up, it's like 3-1 now, and they don't want to get caught out, so I can accept this decision as well, because of course you'd rather be on mid, Uber versus Uber, than risk getting into a worse situation. Now I am just buffing up, looking to make their next move. They're actually baiting with a heavy at the choke, so they're trying to get Watch to push, and Watch pushing here would be a pretty big mistake, because it is a Uber disadvantage for them. Dennis laying out a little bit of pain, Cranberry failing the strafe jump up and takes more damage than he should, but there's no real jump follow-up for Dennis there. I feel like they could have just gone. Like once that heavy revealed himself, it could have just been a straight WM1 into their team, but it didn't happen.
I like how Watch plays. They saw that IM was so far back, and they were giving up that choke, and they decided to peek up and see if they can make anything happen. They really seem to like contesting territory.
Yeah, that's true. They did... wow, they're really cleaning things up here now. I'm not sure exactly what the heck happened in this push to make it go so well, because all I saw was Blueberry Villain dying, Ubers popped at choke, and then everybody from IM was dead, because I was kind of, you know, just... my mind is buzzing at this point, blanking out. But Watch taking back mid here, so let's see. Can they turn it around here? They've been struggling so far in these last few rounds, but if they can get another round under their belt, they can definitely make a match of this. It's only 3-1, so a big round here for Watch if they can convert this into a cap. And geez, they're just totally intimidating IM. Like IM's barely even showing on this too. That's a Panic gonna try to make a play, but no dice. Cranberry's gets surfed way back to choke, I assume, from his health and where he is. And looks like it's gonna be an immediate push. No buffs on the roamer. Not great buffs on any of the team actually as well from IM after they kind of got caught trailing. Scout Uber in. That gets in deep, and the nice flashback to save the demo. This has potential for Watch. They can repush this easily, but their health's getting chipped down, so their medic just needs to look to live here, and maybe if they get some spectacular scout frags, they can make something happen. It's 4-4. Cress, is he going to be the hero of the day? He's coming into the side. He's unseen this time. 2-shot down onto the medic. Wow, big play. And he's capping it. Oh my god. Scouts absolutely dominating.
Very nice. Watch was a lot more patient with their last push than IM has been in their previous ones. They got really close with their Uber. They exchanged evenly, and then they were willing to have their demo men in a defensive position that could still threaten the point and just make a second go at it, instead of trying to sort of take it all in one big push.
Yeah, and even had Crust not like made a really big play there, they still would have been fine because their demo and medic were going to live that push. But now we roll out to another mid. I am showing their mid dominance still through this second half. They've not lost a mid since I think maybe like round 2 or something like that. So they take another mid, but Cranberry gets out of there, so there's a potential for defense on 2, and I think here you probably would want to Uber to defend the 2, just because you have your spawns coming up, and it's reasonable that they could get an exchange here, especially with the combo so close on bats. They Uber out, there goes, but they're not going to get the block, but this combo from IM is pretty far forward. I think they can do something to them here. I don't think IM's follow-up is going to be able to get in that easily, but you know, I might have to eat my words here, as it's basically an even fight at this point. Now 4v4, Mela really low, but lands some pipes in, great damage, and Starry picking up 2 big kills. That's the full combo. Trisk and Slin going down. Flamingo, that's a Panic going down as well. It's just a Moonchild up with Dennis spawning, and that is going to be 2 easily for Watch. They just need to move out as a team. They did lose their medic at the end of that, but that's okay. They get 2, and Slin just spawning now at the same time as Cranberry is going to even things out. So let's see how Watch plays this too. They decide to, shove their way a little bit again and see what they can do with that. No off classes at all in the game right now.
Yeah, that was quite nice from Watch. They exchanged evenly, and then, they realized they hadn't created any advantage and just backed up, and they baited the over-aggression from IM, who a couple stragglers ran into the whole Watch team at last, trying to make a play after that, and got picked off, and that let Watch retake 2.
We do have Crust switching back to Sniper. He's been making some big picks here, but what I'm going to mainly be looking out for here is if he does manage to land a headshot that prompts Watch to push, need to be careful that Cranberry actually gets to use the Uber effectively and doesn't die early or get forced in a bad situation, because that's been the story of their pushes off of Sniper picks so far. We also saw, as Crust was switching to Sniper, Blueberry trying to make a play, but probably now that their Sniper is in play and known about, he's just going to chill out and wait for the Sniper to make something happen. And basically,
it's up to IM here to get really aggressive with this Uber. They've seen the Sniper, they know what's there. They just need to find the right angle to get as close as possible to the enemy team, and then just exchange. And even if the exchange goes evenly, say we're gonna fight after this is over because you have a Sniper and we have a Scout.
Here's a Suicide actually and gets the force. I was gonna bring this up as another potential. No second Scout means Suicides are that much more effective, and that's what we see here. They get the force, and Cranberry, oh my god, how did he not die on that choke? Huge health loss on Watch. They're gonna sweep into this too, and barring once again miraculous Scout play out of Watch, this too should be gone. I don't see them really being able to defend it, but there's big pipes onto Dennis, gets the kill. Watts goes dead. Moonchild getting ready to elaborate on the team. That's very threatening. No cap time yet means Watch could make a play for this, but it's so tough with the demo out there. I don't know if this is going to be the right move, but here they come with the combo. They do have their spawns a bit closer than IM's right now, with IM's spawn all the way back on there too, but the cap's going to go down. Scout's going to run in to try to make a play, but not too much happening in the way of that for Watch. They're not quite able to make that recontest, and I kind of agree with their decision not to commit too hard to that, because that was a really iffy play. If the medic had gone down there, they would have been losing the round and going down to 4-2, which is not a comfortable situation.
I did like that suicide they did right at the end there, because I assumed that they knew they had Uber advantage and that IM couldn't make a successful push back until they got that Suicider back up.
Yeah, we have one Uber exchange going on at the last here. Frags, none out yet, but Panic goes down. Crust trying to make a play, eats a rocket or a pipe or something painful, but now IM crumbling. Lots of people dying to the combined fire of Watts and Mala. Dennis manages to pick up Blueberry, but that's just the roamer, and it's only the combo up for IM, so they're going to have to give too. And Watch, once again, showing good last defense here. IM has been having a lot of trouble. Uber versus no Uber, doesn't matter. This was Uber versus Uber, but they lose so many people. Like, the demo not living at the end of the push makes it so easy to get pushed back on, and Watch is going to turn this into mid as well. But oh my god, my camera works terrible. I missed Cranberry going down again. That's, again, it's like the story of this is Watch has great advantages, but then their medic just dies, and that's unfortunate for them.
Again, I really like Watch's ideas. They said, okay, we can get into mid and we can get our 6th there before they get their 6th there. And the fact that they didn't know that Moonchild was a sniper, but given that they were so willing to go take that territory that was given to them, they could punish that if they hadn't lost Cranberry.
Yeah. We have the superhero Trisk cleaning up with the Uber 1v4 at the end there against Frag classes, with a few of his spawns coming in to help. So in the fallout, IM's going to take mid back, but Watch not in a bad position for themselves. I mean, a few minutes ago they were sitting on their last and trying to make a play back onto 2. So they've kind of stabilized here. We're going to see what they can do with the 2 defense, although their last 2 have crumbled. I mean, a lot of this just comes down to the transition plays. Single Suiciders either forcing or killing the medic, and that's rough, man. Like, that's it's hard to, make up for that. Anything other than just, like, you have to kill that guy before he kills your medic. And maybe just playing the Scouts tied to the combo to facilitate that would be helpful for them.
The control point is being
Now meanwhile, we do have IM taking a slight Uber advantage here. I'm not sure exactly how that happened. I thought Watch was building okay, but I guess they were just a little behind from the beginning, and Watch kind of getting caught on that. They dropped most of their team, and now it's just medic heavy on last. They have the Uber delay for a bit, so they can stop this for now, but it's going to be, once again, an Uber advantage for Slin, and they could even collapse this, because the heavy got, well, one frag on a scout, but now here's the collapse, the soldiers coming in. Oh my god, that heavy barely edges back onto the point, and overcommit! Overcommit! They were spawning! You knew they were spawning, why do you let your medic die? Just like throw a scout at it and maybe something will happen. You don't need to let your medic die for that.
Yeah, I just have a real problem with the way IM pushes last. Like even when it's Uber versus Uber, they run a scout into the thick of the Uber and even behind the Uber. And there's no real reason to do that while your Uber is still up. Because if your Uber doesn't go well, you can just commit, you commit nobody else, and then you don't lose two.
Yeah.
And the only way that you're going to lose two from in a position where you're pushing last is if you overcommit when your Uber is not going well, and that's basically the name of IM's game so far.
Yeah. We have the pop from Watch now coming into 2, the advantage that they've swung off of that death. That's still from the last, that's a big play. Now, Starry tries to get onto the medic, but the entire team is there to get in his face. Watch is going to take 2. Uber advantage to IM. They could push this, but it's tough, man. Like, if they push, I feel like they're just going to get forced on bats, and maybe they'll get the cap. But Watch in a very good position in this round here. We'll see if they can, you know... I feel like their last pushes have been better. Mostly their problem has just been transitions around the middle. That's Crust suiciding. I'm not sure if that's the best idea here while they're pushing on you with Uber. But Slin, I tried to call him Twitch, not forced yet, finally gets the pop. Watts is going to go down, but Scouts down is not a big deal. And I think it's acceptable for them to try to make a play in this situation, because they're going to be back up. As long as Watch backs up towards their side of mid to make sure that they get this Uber, their Scout spawns are going to be back in the fray. Now, once again, they get an opportunity to push with Uber advantage. Gets forced to save Umph, but and by save Umph, I mean save Mela and kill Umph. So, a little bit of an awkward pop there, but with the frags that come with it, kind of a side effect, that's really good for them. And this is a potential last roll. If they can get a Scout on 2, they have a Scout on 2. They can push this in.
Good, great idea. Go up, everybody else go up.
Oh man, they've got so much damage in, but Trisk hitting like 3 directs in a row, takes down Starry. Dennis is coming out as heavy, he's super lit though, 26 HP, he's down. It's just Panic. Panic versus Blueberry. Is Mela there? I think he might be a spawn. No, he's there with the pipes! And that's a round. That's 3-3? That's 3-3, man, we have a game.
That could have been executed a little bit better by Watch. I think they had a bit too much lingering around 2, but it was a great idea.
Yeah, I saw ×3, I'm not sure. I think that was Blueberry coming in from spawn. He decided to stay on the cap, but I think he should have gone last as well. In any case, really nice aggression from them. Just sweeping through that forward. I mean, they had like 2 seconds to do it. Trisk, immediate speed skip bomb. He does a huge amount of damage and doesn't even... He just now dies after hitting like 3 rockets. So that's mid, like, soldier play. Very big right there. Doesn't get stopped at all by a scout, and people are from firing uphill directs at him on a rock. So nice. Now it's just up to Moonchild to clean up a little bit. That's going to be no problem for him. And I am dominating that mid. That's a bigger mid win than before. Full Uber advantage means that they can move their combo up to this 2, up to Watch to decide. Do they want to try to make a force in this 2? I don't think that would work too well. So their best bet probably just to build up on last. IM has had their problems pushing this last, so Watch's best bet is just to chill out, put buffs on everybody, and see if they can cut it off. I don't really like the spy from Crust here. I feel like it's too desperate. If they've been paying attention to the match, notice how many times IM has failed these last pushes with their full advantage. But he gets seen and he backs up to spawn. Now the Uber coming in. What do we got here? We got Mela up top. I mean, they didn't get on anybody. They didn't kill... Like, Starry goes down, sure, but look at the damage. I don't think that this is going to work for IM. They're just, popping through the door. You can't do that and expect to win against the team that's like backed up into their spawn with a heavy.
Yeah, once again, they had people behind the enemy team when the Uber wasn't that great. I mean, if your Uber isn't that great, you can still run a second push style where you let your demoman spam and then maybe an advantage comes out of there from his damage and he calls it, and then you go back in. But they are committing extremely hard.
Oh my god, Cranberry, just pop it! You got a sniper on you for so long. That gave me a heart palpitation. I mean, you don't want to use the Uber there, but Moonchild doing a lot of work. He killed Demo and Pocket there. We got a back cap going on too. Big back cap 2 times. This both soldiers. I have no idea how this happened, but now watch. In a terrible position. This snipes onto mid, and then
both
lack of cap
soldiers
time.
should die, but then they also lost their players on mid.
Yeah, they needed. I think they needed to back up
okay.
as soon as they saw that 1x. Like, you know
Yeah.
that there's going to be a delay. They're not going to back cap when they can't
Even
win
if your
it.
scouts win that 2v2, it's still better to have whoever you had on mid back with them. Both you ensure that you lose as few people as possible on your 2, as well as not losing them on mid to those respawns that are coming.
Yeah. I mean, that back cap was still a good play for IM because at the very worst they got that Uber out at mid, then they would have an advantage again, but now watch crumbling because of that poor response to the back cap. They should have just gone back right away. It's generally a rule with that. If you don't know, just get back there, and that's a round for IM. So turning it around with some unconventional tactic. It's 4-3. That feels like a cheap round to me, but you know, anything goes. And now it's up to Watch to shake that one out of their system and just focus. I mean, what they really need here is a nice mid win, because if they lose another mid, I feel like they could be in the potential of just getting rolled back to their last.
Yeah, IM has been so confident with their DM in mid. They'll just jump a soldier right into your face, and whether or not he does damage, Moonchild's going to be walking up right behind him and killing everything.
Yeah, here's that soldier as we speak, but Crust absolutely dunks him with the 2-shot. Also picking up the other soldier, but frags, big frags coming out from IM. Only Crust and Cranberry alive. Cranberry's dead. It's Crust versus the world. Moonchild's low, but he has got other things to deal with than that. There's another scout and a demo, and he cannot do it, so only frags coming from their scout there. It's just the heavies are misutilized from Watch, and I feel this is weird because the jumps are coming so early from IM, and on this mid I always felt like you need to delay that jump a bit because the scouts can just shut you down, and the scouts did shut the jump down, but then the heavies from IM had no say. They didn't really do anything but go there and die, and that's, you know, bad for them. Now, once again, Watch into the uncomfortable position. They're on their last. No Uber, going with Sniper Heavy Sentry, pulling out... Sentry's gone, never mind. But they're pulling out all the off classes here. They're kind of balled up a little bit more than I would want, but here's the Uber in the door with flashes once again. Blueberry goes down. Lots of damage onto Mela. Mela going down, that's going to be big, and there's the match. So I am bullying their way through that match. Huge DM on the mid fights. Big back cap at the second last round to seal the deal, and Watch unfortunately falls to their opponents. 5-3.
It took 8 rounds, but they finally had that great last push. They saw that the enemy team was super defensive, they Ubered in, and then the scout got on point right away.
And there you have it. To be fair, I think even if that fight had protracted a little bit longer, they still would have won because Mela did not manage to cycle spawn. But at the same time, if he had cycled spawn, they would have lost that because the presence on point was so big that really not much that Watch could do. And I mean, that last round especially highlights what should be happening when you get such, you know, overwhelming mid wins like that. It was just the failure of last pushes from IM earlier that allowed Watch to make a game of it. So really, I think if we go back to it, that was like 8 mid. Well, there's 8 rounds. I want to say like 7 of the mids were won by IM, and at least like 3 of them had the IM medic surviving while the Watch medic died. I'm just going to throw the stats back up on stream here. You can see how it went down.
Yeah, Watch, they like to contest everything they can. If you give them some position, they'll walk up into it and see if they can take more ground. They are very comfortable Ubering to defend too, even if they're at a man disadvantage at the very beginning of it. And I think that sort of decision making will lead to a team that can overcome a team like IM if they can execute properly. There were so many times where Watch had created that advantage and then they failed to shut down a suicider, or they failed to push you know, versus 6v5 with the enemy team having a sniper. Things like that. They did a great job creating the advantages. They did a great job not giving up any ground that they didn't need to, but once they created that advantage, they sort of faltered a little bit.
Yeah, and there you have it really. Like, all it would have taken was 2 more plays to go their way. Like, maybe 2 less deaths or awkward forces out of Cranberry when they're going on those mids, and some of that comes from the sniper, and some of that comes from not balling like quite correctly enough. I mean, there's a time and a place. Like, if you're gonna have an Uber exchange with the combo, you don't want the scouts there, but the scouts need to keep a close eye on your medic when you're going to get suicided. It's very obvious you're going to get suicided when you're bullying and trying to intimidate a team out with your advantage. So stuff like that, just killing that jumper slightly faster can make a really big difference for them. But yeah, overall I really liked how Watch played. I feel kind of like was mainly bullying their way through the match on their superior DM, but like you said, they did have a really nice last push when they made it to the end there with the nice execution getting on point quickly. So maybe a little bit of analysis going on within the mumble as they go. It's like, why are we failing all these pushes? And maybe they managed to adapt, so good for them too. All in all, a pretty well played match and suitably exciting, so I'm glad I decided to cast this one, and thank you for joining us tonight. Peace out.
See you guys.